Hi everybody, I'm Catrice De Leon and I'm a third year student at Ohio State. I'm studying linguistics and Spanish and I'm here with Shannon.
Hi everyone, I'm Shannon. I'm also a third year student studying Spanish and English, and we're just going to talk a little bit today about our presentation at the LASSO conference, which was a couple weeks ago, and there we presented how early should we teach pronunciation, sound category formation in beginner and intermediate learners with me, Catrice, Rebecca, Oyane, and then I know that Kendall helped out a little bit with it too. So a couple members of the Our Voices group.
What were you kind of expecting coming into this, and like what was your experience with like presentations
Yeah, so I
before?
had never really done like a professional, research presentation like this. Like obviously I've done them in like my undergrad courses, but this was something entirely different. I think that it really helped that last year in SEER speech we had members that did presentations. So I got to hear kind of what theirs was like when they presented in practice to us. And then um, yeah, that's basically about it. So my expectations were just that it was going to be a little different because you weren't going to be graded. So you had not that pressure on you, but the pressure that, okay, these people, they might have more experience than me. They might know a little bit more than me, but ultimately, you just kind of have to remember that what you're presenting on. It doesn't matter whether you're an undergrad or whatever. So that was kind of my expectation, that everyone was going to know a lot, but I know what I'm saying. So at least
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
what
for
about
sure.
you?
I was definitely a little bit intimidated because we had seen those presentations last semester and they seemed pretty complicated. It seemed like you had to know your stuff, especially for the questions that we would be receiving afterwards. But it turned out that that wouldn't be a huge worry in this case because Rebecca was able to handle all of those. And we did get some really good questions. But yeah, I think that my expectation, like yours, was that we had to really know what we were talking about and that at a conference there could be people with a range of knowledge. So kind of being able to cater to all of those like spectators was my biggest worry, I think.
Right. Yeah. No, that was definitely a similar thing for me. I was like, how much are these people going to know? Inevitably, will they know more than me? Will they know less? What are the
Hmm.
questions like? I think the questions bring a lot of anxiety, like, I mean, to anyone, but especially to undergrads. I feel like if we do a presentation in class, we don't tend to get a lot of questions. And I feel like undergrads, we just don't ask a lot of questions in class in general, compared to the caliber of the questions that were at the conference. So,
Yeah, especially in this case because the conference was about language acquisition. Is that
yeah, I think so. In general,
yeah?
maybe. Yeah.
And so people were kind of coming from that lens, which I don't have too much experience in
Yeah, me neither.
personally.
Yeah. So I was just wondering, how you thought of the format of it all being online. So we've been dealing with the Zoom lately and all these new formats. And to me, I felt maybe a little bit more confident being at home, but also at the same time, I was kind of scared about the technology part, a little bit apprehensive just because I'd never used the platform before. So I wanted to know what you thought about all of that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree that it's a lot more comfortable to be kind of zooming in or what would it be? Broadcasting from home, especially because you can practice in the exact place and exact setup that you'll have. Because I know it would definitely be a lot more nerve-wracking for me to be like on a stage or in front of a group of people presenting. But it was a new software that we used, so it was called Excel Events, and none of us in the team were familiar with how it really worked. And because of the setup of the kind of panel function, we couldn't see any of the audience or like even see how many people were there watching. So that made it a little bit more mysterious, I would say, about what we were really doing and who we were really talking to. And then beforehand, even, it was kind of unclear where we were supposed to be, whether we were supposed to be up on the panel um, with our cameras on, cameras off. And so it's like a whole new realm of trying to figure out what the etiquette is. But overall, I think we did okay. We made it to the panel on time. So yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, very nice to, be in the comfort of your own home, but technology does present, just a little bit of fear of kind of the unknown in a sense, because when I was logging on, I was like, I don't think my mic's working. Like it said, your mic is not working. I thought, can they see me? Can they hear me? Will they be able to see me and hear me? How can I pull up the chat? Am I in the right place? So there's all those things that I think when you're in person, you're not quite thinking about. But I mean, I think that it worked. It did work out pretty well. We had a few technical issues while we were presenting with the slides not going up. But in the end, I think that everyone understands that, this is just a sign of the times, and the technology, it can be spotty and it can be difficult. It's definitely a learning curve for everyone involved. So
Yeah. Yeah, I think I naively didn't expect anything like that to happen, especially because the first presentation had gone so smoothly, the presentation that came before us. So I was thinking this should be pretty straightforward. Wasn't totally prepared, even though we had talked about it beforehand, that maybe some of us would have to take over somebody else's section of the presentation. But I wasn't really expecting that we would have a problem with the slides. And so basically what happened was that we had some issues pulling them up and then switching the slides on time. And so in my section, the slides were going pretty slow, but they were kind of keeping up with what was going on. So I was able to kind of reference my own notes and deliver the message generally. But like, how did you feel when you realized that you'd have to do it without slides?
as we were going along, yeah, Rebecca was doing the slides, and like you said, they were just lagging, and I was kind of preparing myself, and I was looking at my slides. I was like, maybe I could share mine, but I realized that mine had like some personal notes on them that we wouldn't want to put up on the screen for everyone, because they didn't look very pretty. They didn't look good. So I just thought to myself that I have to convey all of this information without the slides being on the screen, since at that point they kind of had stopped working altogether, and just thought about going slower and explaining a little bit more. I wouldn't have like my visuals, so I think we had an example of how we were analyzing the data on Pratt, and so I didn't have that to kind of reference. But since the conference was, I think you said language acquisition, or it was a more linguistic geared, I kind of assumed, maybe wrongfully, that people would kind of know what I was talking about a little bit. So
Mm-hmm.
I kind of relied on that. But yeah, definitely was in the moment, not too fun to say.
Yeah.
After the presentation, how were you feeling? Were you feeling more confident, less confident? Did you want to do more presentations? What do you think about the whole undergrad experience doing these research professional presentations?
Yeah, I think despite the kind of hiccups that we had, that made me even more confident and more feeling prepared to do more stuff like this, because I knew that we were able to deal with an issue as elegantly as possible, and we were still able to deliver the message, which is what really matters. And so, yeah, I was feeling excited for future conferences and things like that, especially since I'm studying linguistics, and in that sort of field, there's a lot of research-based activity. And so on the other hand, I'll also kind of be a more engaged audience member, I think, and appreciate the effort that goes into the talks that I watch on a weekly basis for linguistics. So I definitely recommend this experience, if not only for like a confidence builder, but also like show instructors or employers in the future that you're able to go into this space that you don't really have much experience with, and you're able to adapt, especially in today's current climate, and handle yourself well in a new context. Yeah, what do you think?
Yes, I totally agree with that. I think it's just an experience that I think all undergrads should definitely consider. Just, to me, it was definitely like a confidence thing. Like, okay, like my academics, they're not, are they there? Are they quite, to that level? Can I go to a research or a professional conference like this? And just after doing it, just that sense of, okay, I did it and it went pretty well. And just like that boost of confidence you get is incredible. And I think that you kind of realize that this is something that you can apply to everything in all jobs in different contexts. You're trying to convey information to an audience in a way that's very clear and easy to be understood, answer questions. This is something that you do in every job, in classes and jobs, and anything in your future. I'm, like you said, that you're in linguistics. I am actually in education, so that is something that's also really valuable, I think, for education. Maybe not the same, because it's not quite such a research-based thing, but you're still trying to convey and communicate with people your idea in a very clear way. So I think that that's something that I could benefit from, but I think I could see every single major, any single field that you could think of. I think that there's definitely benefits to going to something like this.
All right, thank you for watching, everybody. Hopefully you'll consider looking more into our blog and our findings, because we're really excited about it.
Yes, thank you so much, guys. Bye, Catrice.